Bhakti?
Hello, sir.
Bhakti, please introduce, sir.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I take this opportunity to introduce our today's speaker, who has almost 2.5 decades experience in nurturing young minds with his knowledge in the field of electronics, Professor Rajendra Gad. Professor Gad has received his Bachelor's of Science in Physics from St. Xavier's College in the year 1995. Sir completed his master's in electronics from the Department of Electronics, Goa University in the year 1997, and he received the Doctor of Philosophy degree in electronics in the year 2009. Professor Gard has more than 25 years of work experience, especially in the teaching domain. After completing his master's, Sir joined as a technical officer at the Department of Electronics, Goa University. In the year 2005, Sir served as lecturer at the Department of Electronics, Goa University, following which Sir served as the reader at Gyan Prasarak Mandal's College and Research Center, Asagaon, Goa, for the period 2009 to 14. In the year 2014, Sir joined as professor and is currently serving as the Vice Dean of School of Applied and Physical Sciences, Goa University. Apart from his teaching, Professor Gad has contributed immensely in uplifting Goa University. This is true if we see the contributions of Professor Gad in institutional responsibilities shared by him. He is presently serving as the director of the RDRM, that is Directorate of Research Development and Resource Mobilization of Goa University. Sir is also the director of Directorate of Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, which is a flagship program of MHRD, New Delhi. Sir is the chairperson of Purchase and Technical Committee and the member of Board of Studies in Electronics of Goa University. In spite of his teaching and administrative responsibilities, I must say that Professor Gad is an excellent researcher and has contributed immensely in the field of electronics, which is reflected in the research contributions by the students supervised under his guidance. Sir has more than 89 research articles and 8 book chapters published in national as well as international peer-reviewed journals and has presented his research findings at various national and international forums. Sir believes in protecting the intellectual property rights of the inventions and has filed 2 patents for the technology developed by his team. Professor Gad believes in teamwork and interdisciplinary research for which he has various national as well as international collaborations. And to name a few, the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, Norway, the Indian Council of Agriculture Research, ICAR Goa, etc. Sir is the recipient of Best Teachers Award for the academic year 2019-20. This is one of the prestigious awards presented by the Department of Higher Education, DHE, Government of Goa, to senior teachers for their significant and remarkable contributions in the field of education, both teaching as well as research. Apart from all his achievements, I would like to say Professor Gad is a very humble and approachable person with helping nature. With this brief introduction, on behalf of the institution's Innovation Council, Goa University, I welcome Professor Rajendra Gad to this session. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Bhakti, for your introduction, and I thanks also the Goa University Innovative Council for inviting me to deliver this particular lecture in the line of process innovation, development, and technology readiness. Um, Basically, I'll be discussing this lecture over 1 hour as instructed to me, and I'll be trying to this cover this few topics like why we should do innovation. I hope I am very clear, right? My slides are changing.
Changing, sir.
Yeah, okay. So I'll be trying to discuss this topics that why we should do innovation, process of innovation development, technology readiness level for the technology what you are proposing, and commercialization and question and answer. So I'll be trying to put some 10, 20, 15, 5, and 10 minutes for these particular topics. So let me go ahead. Why we'll have to do innovation in the recent time? What we understand is if I want to answer what is innovation has to come in the form of the intellectual property right which you are going to protect for whatever benefits or economic benefits. So if you see the types of intellectual property right, there are various types of property rights like utility patent, design patent, copyright, trade secrets, trademarks, and so on. And if I want to give some examples of this, we can say under patent, it can be a case of iPad or chemical fertilizer or genetic traits and so on. And the under copyrights, it can be a book, music, photo, or fine art or graphic image. Under trade secret, it can be a formula, method, device, and under trademark, it can be a word, symbol, logos, and so on. And you may be aware of some of this type of intellectual property right under examples. If I want to give under a patent, it can be iPad, iPod. If it is a copyright, it can be a Michael Jackson Thriller. If it is a trade secret, then it is a Coca-Cola formula, which is not known to the world. Or it's a trademark, it is a Coca-Cola name, or so many logos which are there in the public domain. And if you see the protection over which you can harp the economic benefits, for a patent it is 20 years. For copyright it is a life of the author plus 70 years. For a trade secret it is as long as information is confidential. And for a trademark for a business, as long as the business is in the service. If I want to say something about the innovation, types of innovation, there are 4 types of innovation, and which are categorized basically on the technology and the market. Whether that particular innovation is giving a new technology, and whether that and it is creating a new market. For example, Doraemon was a small toy which created a new market for with the existing technology. So if you go on categorizing these types of whether it is a new technology and creating a new market, then accordingly we can classify these types of innovation. It is an architectural innovation, or a radical innovation, or incremental innovation, or a disruptive innovation. And you can see some examples here which are given. For incremental innovation, one can give the razor blade, which is getting incrementally innovative day by day, and it is giving a very good service to the user. Or if it is an architectural innovation, you can say the multifunction device which we are using, like printer, scanner, and photo machine, and so on. If it is a radical innovative idea, then it is an iPad, which is a new technology and a new market it is generating, right? And so on. So this way, if you can, this way the innovations are usually classified. If I want to give the example of the particular product, say for example a cycle under this particular category, you can see the incremental innovation can be that of the you are just changing some minor changes in the cycle. Or if it is architectural innovation, you are just changing the architecture of the cycle, which you can see here. Or if it is a radical innovation, it's a new technology and a new market you are creating. You may be aware of these electric bikes which are available nowadays in the market. And if you visit any mall, you'll be able to see, just stand on it and you can drive that, something like that. And if it is a modular innovation, then you are incrementally doing some changes in the batteries or seat or the structure and this and that. So, and accordingly generating with the new technology or existing technology, you are adding a value to the market or creating a new market for the product which you are trying to launch. Similarly, if I want to give the example of the camera, Also in the particular 4 categories, the camera example can be given, and so on. So types of innovation, and with example, if you are talking about in technology side, then electricity, semiconductor, the internet can be some of the example of the innovations. The product, car, planes, then iPad, the process, the assembly line of any factory or a Kaizen or a lean startup. Finance, it is a mortgage, which is a process through which you are trying to lean some money in and out to the by banks. If it is a cultural innovation, then there are civil rights or entrepreneurship. And K-pop is one of the new cultural innovation which is coming, which is very popular in Korea and all that. They are trying to it's a social media account through which you are trying to connect people across the world and trying to popularize about the Korean pops, pop music. And through that you are trying to market this and that. So this is one of the some of the social media platforms which are available, which are trying to target certain countries. And if it is a legal innovation, then corporation or startup visa and so on. Startup visa, that means a country is inviting for a person to have a startup, and a free visa is given free and so on. Why we have to do innovation as a country, as a India? Because if you see the young people in the world, and you can see, and this is the statistics of the young people in the world, and if you see the shape, of this China, India, and the USA, and if you compare it with the right-hand side box, then you can see China is the the India is the expansive population, right? It is trying to expand. And that is what you can see in the lower part of this particular statistic. You can see there is a large number of youth population which is there. In China, it is a constrictive population, and in USA it is a stationary population. So we have a large number of youth, and we have to engage them in certain areas, and we have to give some jobs or some skills. And we'll have to invent so that we generate a lot much of economic value for our population. And these are some of the national challenges which are there with us. We have to, since we have a large population, we have to give the justice. We'll have to show the economic growth. We'll have to give the social justice and equality among this population. And for that, unless we give the direction to this population and innovate, we cannot lead the world, and we cannot show the leadership to the global stage. And that's how. And also, and that is the reason we have to do something new all the time as a country. And even if you see the national challenges from the perspective of the language knowledge domain, knowledge landscape, then what you can see, there is a large amount of research which is happening in the big data, machine learning, and this and that. And we'll have to acquaint our youth in this particular direction, so they do some innovation and solve the problems of the world, and so on. I was trying to understand the wealth of a nation. What is that parameter which is quantifying the wealth of the nation? And if you see, there are 3 proposed models which are in the place. First is of the Adam Smith, which is a classical economic model, which talks about output of a particular nation or a wealth of the nation is directly proportional to the capital which it is having, and the labor, total number of labor force. And it was a model which was by the Robert Solow in 1957, which says it is not only dependent on the capital and the labor, but it is also technology factor is also playing a role to generate output for a particular country. If they are not using a latest technology, then the particular country will not be able to prosper. And that technology factor, which is again defined by Paul Romer in 1986, which says that technology is factor is dependent on the research and development the country is doing, and whatever human capital it is having, the skilled human capital it is having. So country has to do research and development to sustain, to generate a better output for a wealth of a nation. That is the understanding we have from this particular class models which are there in the public domain. And whichever country, you can see right hand side figure which is given, whichever country invests money into the research and development, they are generating a good GDP. So if you try to understand the current status of the R&D investment, we are just generating. China is producing 13 lakh patent. USA is producing 6 lakh patent, and India is just producing 46 or 50,000 patent. So it is 60%. And out of this 50,000 or 46,000, 68% of these are produced by the NRI of Indian origin. So they are not basically coming from the local who are there in the Indian continent, but they are from NRI contribution of this 50,000. And we'll have to enhance this particular patent or intellectual property registration across the world, across the India. And also, if you see the researchers which are supported per lakh population, in India it is 15, while in China it is 100. And while in United States it is 400, so and in Israel it is 800. So we have to have a very good competition to compete with this world leaders, so that we become a superpower in the near future. And I was trying to understand Indian performance on the Global Innovative Index. If you try to see for last 5 years, the Indian Global Innovative Index is increasing. It was earlier 81 number, but now it is 48. As per the UNESCO statistic. And there are some more statistics here, which is a very, very new world most innovative country. If you see, it's a Switzerland, Sweden, US, UK, South Korea, Netherlands, and so on, because they are spending lot much on the R&D aspect of the R&D expenditures are very high in these countries. I was trying to understand which are the top innovations of the world, and I was trying. These are some of the innovations which I came across, like wheel, the nail, the penicillin, which was introduced, which could take care of one of the antibiotics, bulb, then the compass, then the four-stroke engine, the printer, and and so on. These are some of the world top innovation of the world, which really did a lot much of revolution in the way we are working. And if you try to understand the 50 most innovative companies of 2021, and first rank is Apple, Alphabet, Amazon, Microsoft, Tesla, Samsung, and so on, and Pfizer and Sony. Most of them are belonging to US continent and Japan or the UK or this European continents, and so on. This list is you can see up to 50 number. And also, if you try to see which are the types of frontier technologies and market size of these technologies, then one can see that IoT, drones, solar cells, then big data, robotics are some of these technologies which are having a big lot much of market value in the upcoming years. And if you see, try to understand which are the top frontier technologies providers for AI. It is a Alphabet or a Google or Amazon, Apple, IBM, Microsoft. If you want to know for IoT, it is Alphabet again, Amazon, Cisco, IBM, Microsoft. These are the only players which are playing in this particular arena. And 5G technology, if you see, which is upcoming, then Ericsson, Huawei, then Nokia, Intel, MediaTek, and Qualcomm, and so on. India was trying to introduce his own standard recently, 5G Indian standard, but world was opposing to that, saying that it is not compatible, interoperability is not there, and this and that. But the government in place forced this particular technology and said, no, we'll have to introduce this. If not for 5G, at least for 6G, we'll be able to give a good justice in the upcoming year. So I don't see the standard from India or any company from India which is in the 5G technology here. So that's why we have the lot responsibility to venture into these types of frontier technologies to play with, so that we also bring our name here in one of this list. So these are not the only countries, or these are not the only innovative frontier technologies which are there, like AI, IoT, big data, blockchain, 5G. But there are other alternative technologies also getting developed. The world over, there are thoughts that we should not spend much energy into the product which we are developing, or innovative product which we are developing. It should be a product which is consuming very, very less power and so on. And in that line, there are frugal innovations which are coming up. Frugal innovations are the innovations or the processes which are having very, very reduced complexity and also the cost. Like, for example, we are having this Nukkad technology, no, in India. What is that word? Anybody can help me?
Jugaad.
Yeah. Jugaad technology. You can say this Jugaad technology and frugal technologies are in the similar line. So thousands of ingenious entrepreneurs from special countries like Kenya, India, Peru, they are Philippines. They are trying to invent such types of technology for known as under frugal innovations, wherein anybody can introduce technology there. You just think how you can solve particular problem for particular using a particular product. And recently, I was interacting with one of the groups under this European Union group. It was. I'll just want to show their website. They were interacting with me regarding whether they can introduce their competition in India. Frugal. Just give me 1 minute. Can you see that? One minute. I think I should. They are planning to have a competition in India in upcoming time. This is a big project, which is being coordinated by Germany, France, and so many other countries in various continents. And they want to have a competition in India or Indian continent. And they were interacting with me regarding the ethical clearance for this particular competition, because they'll be interacting with the various human subjects. And they want to have a competition in India, so that large number of frugal technologies are getting developed to solve particular few problems, which can be solved using a very, very simple methodologies. So there is a scope for every inventor, here. You don't have to be with the AI or blockchain or 5G technologies to do something. You can have your own simple method to solve particular problem. So with that, let me continue. And the inventor for this particular frugal technology is nobody than the Professor Anil Gupta, who was there in Goa for one of the there is a series going on in the Kala Akademi. Anybody can help me? He delivered a lecture for that particular series, Didi Kosambi series. So he's a person who is driving this particular technology, and he's working for last 20 years to support this particular types of technologies. So what is that I'm trying to say? That yes, there is a large scope for inventing so many things. If you just apply your mind, you can think of some innovations. And let us try to understand how to give a thought for innovation. That is, which are processes which are involved in innovation development. So I will try to give some examples here through which you can also think of some problem solving, how the methods and approach towards it. Uh, for that, I will advise you to visit Indian Patent IP Indian Patent website, which is like I have shown you here. And if you see there, if you want, let us say you want to trying to solve a particular problem and you want to file a patent for that, you can search for a patent here. You can see that particular this thing, public search for granted patent. You just click here and you can see, let us say I'm trying to search for a climbing coconut. I want to solve the problem of climbing coconut. You just put a search word in the climbing coconut and you will get a lot many patents which are filed all over India, across India by various entities. And you can see now for this particular example, in just 2021 itself, there are around 10-15 patents which are filed for climbing coconut, or trying to solve the problem of coconut related technology for husking or for climbing or for whatever reasons. So this way you can see, and if you go into this particular document, they are all available for the public domain. You just have to click this particular document and see. Just go to the diagram specification, and you can see for climbing coconut, for a climbing, there are so many technologies which are proposed here. You can see here. This is a one device which is developed. It's a simple device. Anybody can think of this, right? Which talks about how to climb. Using some stool mechanism, something like that, of different height, which can be telescopic in format. And then there are some more other example how to different attachment and motorized attachment and so on. Similarly, if you want to try to search for, let's say, exoskeleton. Exoskeleton is a device which can be connected to a person who requires a what do you call this? Once, suppose if he's having an accident, and if you want to have physiotherapy exercise, then these are the types of utilities which are connected to the body and through which you can do your activities. So similarly, you can see these are some of the exoskeletons which are being developed or being published into the public domain in Indian patent website. Similarly, if you can do the exercise for the US patent website and so on. So you can see in the right hand side how these particular types of devices are helping people to walk and do their regular activities when they are in the trauma. So there are various designs which are proposed, which I have shown you here in picture format, right? So similarly, say for example, you are doing search for a corrosion. Somebody is working in the chemistry, wants to know how to solve a problem for a corrosion. You can search that word corrosion and he will get large number of search, and he can select one of this search and find out what they have done and how do I solve my particular problem, how do I attack that particular problem with the innovative idea other than what is described in this particular innovations. So from that particular perspective, if you see, there are various proposals which are given. I was trying to understand what way they have solved this particular problem. Some people are trying to solve corrosion of the blades in the high, turbine engines. You can see. So that means that is a minimum corrosion in that particular turbine. Or some people are solving, giving a formula which can be a paint, which can be put on this turbine or any other base, and it will not corrode that particular model. Or there are some studies or performance studies which are done for particular molecule or a particular adhesive which is painted on that particular base, and which are giving a good results, and so on. Over a time, over a month, it is not corrosive, and so on. So this way, they are proposing processes or some material or and so on for to solve the problem of the corrosion. Let us say a simple example: we are taking a vegetable cutter. If I want to design a vegetable cutter and I want to have propose a very good innovative step for that, so I'll first search what is there in the public domain. Okay, what people have solved. I'll try to study some of this example, and I will try to understand what are the designs they have proposed, and then I'll try to propose my own design. So this way you can attack the problem what we are trying to solve. And once you understand all these technologies which are for particular problem, then you can generate a comparative statement, like comparative studies like this, what I have shown you. This was the study which we have done when we were developing a unmanned cocoa boat. and then I place all the designs which are there in the public domain, and how my design is comparable, how efficient it is, how low power it is, and how user friendly it is. And from all this perspective, I can compare them and I can say, okay, this is my design is something different, and so on. So for that, I'll have to, once I do that search for a particular problem which I'm trying to address, then I can do this comparative map, and then I can try find out the various features of that, innovative features, and then propose my own product or my technology which will have innovation as compared to the which are there in the public domain. Similarly, for the unmanned robot, and so on. So this is the way I can progress for whatever problem I'm trying to solve. Once I do these studies, then I am proposing a solution for a particular problem, right? And that is the innovation which I am proposing. So for that, I have to go to the patent attorney. And what are the type of services I am getting? Let us say you are proposing a patent, or if you are proposing a trademark, or you are proposing a copyright issue, then you have to demand the services to the patent attorney or a registration office, the consultant who are giving the services, and then take the services for a particular IPR what you are trying to propose, right? For example, if you are trying to propose a patent, so then first you have to do the patentability search, what I have shown you earlier. Then you draft the patent through this particular patent attorney, then file a patent, then wait for an examination report, then file the examination report, and then renew the patent in the public domain for years to come by paying some fees, and then try to sell that patent or commercialize that patent to the in a public domain, or to the industrialist who is interested in manufacturing that particular or using that particular technology. So similarly, if you are trying to make a trademark, then same types of example I would have given for a trademark is of the Nike, right? Nike shoes. So similar type of services you'll have to generate from the attorney who is supporting the services for the trademark and for the copyright. So if you are trying to copyright your book or a film or a story or whatever, you'll have to prepare a document, filing a copyright application, then prosecution, opposition, then that is a cross verification what you have to do, and then you are getting a copyright for the written material what you are trying to file. Similarly, if you are trying to propose an industrial design, a special design which is not there in the market, or say, for example, shape of a chair or the architecture of a chair, which will give you a very good posture and long hours you can work, then such types of design also you can propose, and you can participate in the industrial design and take those services and register those services and protect your intellectual property. There are various fees which are demanded by the attorney or the registration office, like which I have given here, which are ranging from 10,000 to 20,000, depending on expertise of a consultant. And otherwise, there are regular fees like 1,500 or 2,000 or 5,000 for a registration, and so on. So once you go through this particular process, then similarly, there are fees for the trademark. Then here I'm trying to show you some of the processes which are involved in filing a patent. Suppose you are searching for a vegetable cutter, and if you are having some immediate idea, suppose if you get, and you have not developed that particular product, you know the design of that, so immediately you can file a patent, provisional patent for that. You can block your idea for yourself in the registration office of IPR, and then you can file something called a provisional application. And there are two forms you have to file. That is a form 1 and form 2. I have demonstrated here those forms. I don't know whether you can see that. I think I'll have to open a different window for that. Anyway, I'll show you that. Yeah, you can see. you see my entire screen now? Can you see the document? Can somebody respond to me? Can you see my
Your
document?
screen is visible.
This screen, now you can see the document?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
visible.
So this is the format of Form A. You can see this is the way you have to try. Wherein the main importance, these things which are asked there, who is the inventor and under whose name you are registering that. Okay, these are the main questions which you'll have to address here. Who are the applicant and who are the inventor? Sometimes inventor and applicants are same. And if you are working, say, for a Goa University, then applicant will be Goa University and inventor will be the Professor Gada and so and so. So this way it goes. Then this forms will have to give detailed specification. What is that technology you are trying to address and what is the solution you are trying to give? Once you file this particular patent, it depends on if it is an institutional patent, it takes 2 to 3 months for the examination report. If it is an individual patent, then it will take within 1 year you will get an examination report. For us, we filed a patent somewhere in 17. We got an examination report in 2021, and then we filed a examination report for that. That examination report is given by the controller of that particular office, which you can see here. You can see this particular examination report?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the way you will get an examination report, which will ask a few questions like whether whatever you are claiming, whether it is okay, and they will try to compare it with the existing patents which are there in the Indian market or a US market and various jurisdictions. And they will try to compare and say, now you have to justify your claims, whatever you have made, for that particular innovation. And for that, you have to now do the research, and that research goes somewhat like this. So the examination report, the examination report is given for various patents which are there in the market. Now, for example, for us, the examination report for coconut climbing machine was given for so many patents. You can see this patent. This is one machine which is existing already in the public domain. So it is a flying drone. Second machine which is there is a US patent which looks like somewhat like this. You can see that picture. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So similarly, the third product is looking like this, very very complicated, and they were filed somewhere in 1957, 60s, and so on. So now we have to compare our product with this particular controller examination report and justify that our product is totally different than whatever existing in the public domain. And that way, we have to give justification for that examination report, and then say that yes, we are something different and we are innovative, and our whatever claims we have made, they are different than what they are existing. And that way, you can claim your innovativeness. And then for that, if you want to do this particular study, then you'll have to generate a comparison between your product and the product which are questioned by the controller with whom they are comparing. And for that, you'll have to generate a comparative studies and then generate a final examination report and submit that report. I can show you how the final examination report look like, somewhat like this. Wherein let us say, let me scroll down. Now, for example, here you can see our patent was compared with 3 US patent, and we'll have to now justify how it is different with reference to D1, D3, and D2 and D3. So we'll have to give the write-up how our patent is different to the patent which are mentioned by the controller, and then we'll have to give the big write-up, compare them, and with each and every feature, try to find out the lacuna in the other patents and claim that whatever you are claiming is the best solution or best product as compared to the other things. This way you can go for a examination report, and once the examination report is filed, then again they will be calling your attorney for what do you call this one-to-one meeting, and there they are going to ask that our attorney has to explain, and then you have to justify that whatever examination report you have submitted is to the mark, and there are no technical issues in that. What I see that this examination report is more to do with the legal matter, legal terms, than compared to the technical terms, wherein the advocate has to, controller, your patent attorney has to justify in the legal terminologies how it is different. So this way, the general processes which are there in filing the innovative ideas, and then once you do that, then we'll have to see whether now just we have sometime the patent is ready product, or what you call this ready product, or what you call this prototype form, or in the final product form. If it is not if it is at the prototype form, then you have to see the technology readiness level of that particular prototype, and for that you have to do so many this thing, test whether it is test. Now you can see in this particular picture the patent which we have filed, we are testing it for the climbing and descending, right? Also we are testing it for the weight bearing capacity, whether it can climb in the heavy weight, what do you call this, for robustness for climbing, for the carrying weight, right? And also whether it can do the job, and you can see whether it can perform the job which is demanded for that particular patent. And this way you have to test this, and you have to generate the data and certify this. Yes, now this particular prototype what we are proposed is ready for the technology transfer, because it can work in a very harsh condition, and it is a robust design, and which is a robust design. And then also we'll have to see whether it is having a what do you call this market and competitive landscape. What is the market size? Whether this particular product which you are trying to propose is which can cater to the needs of the world, or only to the continent, specific to the regions, or so on. That way you can confirm what is the what do you call this economic value of that particular idea or product which you are trying to propose. And that way you can estimate the cost of what. Also you have to give the estimation for the cost of the mass production if it is a manufacturing item, and also what is the estimated market for that particular product from your perspective, and who are the takers for that. How it can, this particular product can be promoted. So you have to identify takers. For example, in our particular case, we said our takers for our particular product is the International Coconut Development Corporation, Coconut Development Board of India, various cooperative societies, agricultural department in the major coconut growing states, and some entrepreneurs and resource-rich enterprising farmers. These are the takers for our technology. So, and whether it is a user-friendly and so on, which are, and this way you have to justify the market and competitive landscape for that particular product which you are trying to propose, so that you can estimate the valuation of that particular product if you are trying to sell that particular technology to some entrepreneurs. Also, you'll have to see it from the perspective of the efficiency. For example, whatever the product which we are trying to propose was a drone-based, what do you call this, coconut climbing machine. It will fly and directly go to the crown of the coconut tree. For that particular case, we'll have to compare it with the manual harvesters, which are regular harvester, human based, then the automatic machines which are available, and the proposed system. And then we'll have to see the operational efficiency of this, your machine. What is the recurring cost of that particular machine? How much operational accuracy for the hectares? For, say, for example, usually it is known as like 120 palm per hectare. So how many hectare per day it can harvest, and cost effectiveness. How much payment I'll have to give that. So for that, we'll have to see the establishment cost and the recurring cost, and find out what will be the total cost of your cost effectiveness for your per day basis, like that. So these are the types of analysis we have to do to propose that yes, your product is superior from all this perspective. That is, it is having a market, it is a very cost effective, it is recurring cost is very low, and this and that, and this way you can say that your then this parameters will help you to take this particular product for the commercialization. If you are trying to approach to some industrialist for development, then he will ask these types of questions, technology readiness, whether this technology readiness, it can be immediately taken to the market or not, or some more refinements are required in this particular product. So these are some of the parameters we'll have to think of to do that. And if you are developing that product, production is done, then how you are going to attack the market, market strategies. What will be your market strategies? How you are going to address or popularize this particular product? How you are going to revenue strategies will be there. How revenue will be generated for that particular product? That means what will be the cost of that particular product? What will be the service cost of that particular product? What will be the warranty cost of that particular product? What will be the cost of the if you are trying to sell it through some agents, then what will be the percentage of commission which you have to pass it on to the agents? Then what will be the tax on this particular product? All this you have to compute, and then market and competitive strategies you have to propose for this particular product which you are trying to design, because these are the essential questions which will be asked by technology during the technology transfers. And last, what I can say is that if you want to take it to the commercialization, then whatever analysis I have said, cost effectiveness, user friendly, then cost to the market, and so all this analysis has to be given to the technology transfer fellow who is interested in purchasing your technology, and then you have to sign an agreement for the profit sharing, or if it is a recurring cost over in the form of the royalty, or you want to directly sell that particular product at a one particular time. If you want to put it in the royalty format, or at one time cost you want to sell. So these types of estimation has to be done, which can be done through some technology consultant and who is having a financial estimation evaluators. And then you can sell your technology for this particular. I just want to give some two examples of the robotic technologies which are there in the market. There are somewhere around 60,000 patents across various, especially China, India, Japan, and US. Germany. They are playing with this particular technology, and industrial valuation for this particular industrial robots valuation is somewhere around 4 lakh crore USD dollars, and humanoid robots is around somewhere around 25 lakh USD dollar. So this is the market valuation for this technology. Anybody wants to venture into this technology can make a lot of money in this particular area. Suppose similarly, if you want to give the valuation for the drones, there are somewhere around 10,000 patents which are there in the public domain, and commercial drones. Now you may be aware that most of the technologies are, say for example, Amazon is planning to distribute or deliver the product through drones, right? And very soon you will be seeing this in the near future. And the technology valuation for commercial drones which are having a high payload capacity is quite high, in around 3 lakh US dollars, and so on. So solar photo. So those who are working in solar photovoltaic cells, there are somewhere around 20,000 patent, and market size by 2026 is around 334 billion US dollars. So those who are venturing into this technology, they can sell their technology, because it is some of the technologies which are drivers for the frontier technologies and which are driving the markets. So I think with this, I can stop here. And if any queries or questions are there, I was wondering to, if any queries are there, I can address, or they can write to my email address if they are trying to, if they are having any issues in related to this registrations or different procedures. Then they can directly write to me at rsguard@uniguard.ac.in. I'll be very happy to address their concerns. And if any query is there, I'll be there to address it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We can have questions. Please raise your hands who want to ask questions.
Sir, my name is Prashant. Can I ask one question?
Hello.
Sir, my name is Prashant. I have a question. It's regarding the technology readiness level. So if you can just elaborate slightly on that. Like
What is that? No, can you repeat your question?
So the question is on the technology readiness level.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you can slightly elaborate on that. So at what categories do we normally have a kind of a benchmarking or a categorization into various sections?
Technology readiness.
Yes, sir. Levels, particularly 1 to 7 levels.
No, I'm not aware of this technology readiness levels. For your information, I'm not able to comment anything on that.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
Sorry.
Any question, please ask participants. Thank you, sir, for the nice presentation and showing the complete path for discovery to the developing technology, and that to transfer it to make it transfer to the companies. I request Miss Gayatri to kindly give vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. So I'm audible?
Yes, Gayatri, you are audible.
Okay. Good evening to all. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this platform. It's a pleasure to hear expertise knowledge on the process of innovation development and technology readiness and commercialization of lab tech and the tech transfer. I first and foremost thank you, Sir Rajan Iskar, for valuable time and sharing his expertise and experience in this field. I also thank IIC Director Sir Dr. Sandeep Garg and the faculty coordinator Ms. Bhakti Salgaonkar for arranging innovative and interactive webinars to encourage an entrepreneur in one all among us. Once again, I thank you one and all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.